This driver was cruising down a country road in northern Ontario when the white truck ahead suddenly ended up on the roof of a house. According to police, the truck had driven off the road and hit a driveway culvert, launching it into a hydropole. As a result, the impact sent the back end lifting up until the entire vehicle came crashing down onto the roof. Fortunately, no one was home at the time, and both people in the truck walked away without injuries. Meanwhile, the highway was closed for several hours while crews worked to remove the truck from the roof. But this was only number one of the 20 most disturbing dashcam moments, and it gets more intense from here, including a missile strike, a deadly elephant attack, and footage of firefighters trapped in a burnover. This footage was captured on July 26, 2024, in Singapore, as a black car makes a left turn onto Tanjong Katong Road, passing right next to an active construction site. But seconds later, the ground beneath it starts to crack. Before the driver has any chance to react, the asphalt gives way completely, swallowing her car into a massive sinkhole below. Additionally, the collapse took out 2 entire lanes, leaving the woman trapped at the bottom of the pit. Fortunately, nearby construction workers witnessed the incident and rushed to help, pulling her from the sinkhole before she was taken to the hospital fully conscious. According to officials, the sinkhole had formed right next to a work site operated by Singapore's National Water Agency. Had those workers not been nearby, the outcome could have been far worse. When the host of YouTube channel Autotopia LA took a ride in his 1,300 horsepower Mercury Comet, he had no idea it would end in disaster. Over the course of 23 years, owner Russ had put together this stunning build himself in his home garage. However, there was one major problem. The brakes had been modified 17 years ago and had not been updated since. During what was supposed to be a casual video shoot, the crew noticed a smell of burning brakes, and the accelerator had started sticking at around 2,200 revolutions per minute. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal, but as they approached a stoplight, everything went wrong at once. First, the accelerator stuck, and when Russ tried to slow down, he realized he had no brakes. With a red light ahead and multiple lanes of traffic, Russ swerved to avoid a collision, but there was nowhere to go. As a result, the car slammed into a minivan at around 45 to 50 miles per hour. Fortunately, both Russ and the host walked away with non-life-threatening injuries and have since made full recoveries. This dashcam driver was traveling down a quiet country road outside Lebanon, Tennessee, when disaster struck without warning. A man driving a Jeep Gladiator suddenly crossed the center line and slammed head-on into their vehicle with devastating force. As a result, the impact sent the dashcam driver's car flipping completely off the road and into a nearby cow field. The car landed upside down, trapping the occupants inside. When responders arrived, the driver admitted he'd been on his phone. Everyone survived with non-life-threatening injuries, but one glance at a screen nearly cost multiple lives. This driver was heading down a Los Angeles road late at night in 2019 when the white SUV ahead merged into the middle lane. Everything seemed normal at first, but then the SUV began drifting gradually to the right. Before anyone could react, it slammed into the highway barrier with shocking force. Immediately after, the SUV flipped violently and rolled for several seconds before coming to rest upside down, with debris scattered across the asphalt. Fortunately, the airbags deployed on impact, preventing serious injuries. According to commenters who analyzed the footage, the gradual drift suggests the driver had likely fallen asleep at the wheel. Our next moment was posted on Reddit under the title, "I Got Lucky as Hell," and you're about to see exactly why. Because as the dashcam driver was exiting the highway, he suddenly lost control, crashed hard, and flipped over. According to the driver in the comments, he hydroplaned on the wet road, then overcorrected while trying to avoid hitting a light pole. From there, he completely lost control. The road had just been hit by rain, and he admitted he was probably going too fast for the conditions. Miraculously, he walked away with no injuries at all and was able to climb out of the overturned car with the help of the other drivers who rushed over to rescue him. But this serves as a stark reminder of how quickly things can go wrong when you're driving too fast in wet conditions. In July 2025, a white truck was traveling down a two-lane road when a reckless pickup appeared on his left, speeding and overtaking multiple cars. At first, it looked like an impatient driver, but things quickly escalated. As the pickup flew past a Mustang at dangerous speed, it ran the car completely off the road, causing it to spin out violently. Consequently, the out-of-control Mustang then slid directly into the path of the oncoming dashcam truck, forcing the driver to swerve hard to avoid a head-on collision. For a moment, it looked like the truck was going to flip over, but the driver managed to steady the vehicle just in time. Fortunately, no one suffered serious injuries. Meanwhile, the reckless pickup driver can be seen continuing down the road as if nothing happened, and it's unknown whether he was ever tracked down and charged. This hobby race driver was pushing his BMW E90 M3 around Palmer Motorsports Club in Massachusetts, but the weather conditions were far from ideal. Specifically, the track was completely soaked from heavy rain, and he was running on street tires that offered minimal grip in wet conditions. For the first few minutes, everything seemed manageable. However, as the rain intensified, standing water began pooling on the straights. Mid-straight, his car suddenly broke loose as all four tires hydroplaned across the wet surface. Despite this, he kept his composure and made a quick correction to regain control. His stability control also kicked in at the right moment, helping prevent a full spin. Had he panicked or overcorrected, he could have easily spun out and slammed into the barriers at high speed. This driver was cruising along a highway just seconds after overtaking a fuel truck when things went horribly wrong. Out of nowhere, a tree on the right side of the road tipped over and sent pieces of wood flying directly at the windshield. In an instant, the impact was violent and the glass shattered on contact, leaving the driver staring through a web of cracks. Fortunately, the windshield was strong enough to hold together and absorb the blow, but had the glass given way, the wood could have gone straight through and struck the driver. Shaken but unharmed, the driver pulled over to process what just happened. This pickup driver was waiting at a red light in Australia when a man wearing nothing but bathing shorts suddenly tried opening his door in a disturbing attempt. In response, the driver hit the gas immediately, but the man jumped onto the back of the pickup and held on as the vehicle sped down the road. At this point, the driver had no idea what this stranger's intentions were. After a few tense moments, he brought the pickup to a complete stop, and the man finally jumped off and fled the scene on foot. To this day, it's unknown who the man was or what he was trying to do. This driver in Australia encountered a clearly intoxicated man who stepped into the middle of the street and refused to move, completely blocking traffic. Furthermore, the pedestrian flipped off the driver and continued standing in the road despite repeated honking. His erratic behavior caught the attention of nearby bystanders. When the driver honked again, the drunk man suddenly slammed his fist on the car's hood and started screaming insults.
Fuck off from road.
He kept stumbling around the vehicle, yelling threats and refusing to let the driver pass.
Mate, just move out there, please, okay?
Thank you!
For several minutes, the standoff continued. Eventually, the bystanders finally stepped in and physically pulled the man away from the vehicle, allowing the driver to escape. On July 7, 2020, a dashcam driver was heading home when he attempted to pass a white Honda Accord. Unfortunately, the Honda driver took it personally and furiously sped up, refusing to let him pass. After finally getting ahead, the dashcam driver thought it was over. Seconds later, The Honda came roaring up from the right lane and tried merging directly into his space, despite there being no room. As a result, the car slammed into his right side, nearly sending both vehicles out of control.
130,133, the new death toll from COVID-19 in the United States after hundreds more people recently lost their lives.
In shock, the dashcam driver immediately called 911 to report the incident.
Call 911.
To this day, it's unknown whether the road rager was ever caught or charged. In this incident, the dashcam driver was traveling on a highway in San Bernardino, California, when a red Mercedes came flying up from behind and dangerously overtook him from the right at excessive speed. Almost immediately, the Mercedes slammed into the left guardrail, spinning out before careening into the right guardrail as well. Flames immediately erupted from the wreckage as the car came to a smoking stop on the shoulder. Terrified but wanting to help, the dashcam driver pulled over to check if everyone was okay. Inside were 4 young men in their 20s, and the car reeked of dangerous substances. After trying to talk to them through the damaged Mercedes, moments later all 4 suddenly fled the scene on foot, abandoning the burning wreckage. To this day, it's unknown whether they were ever caught or charged. This driver was making his morning commute down a highway in Malaysia when a massive mushroom cloud of fire suddenly erupted into the sky in the distance. Specifically, the footage was captured on April 1st, 2025 at around 8:08 in the morning in Putra Heights, Subang Jaya. What the driver was witnessing was the aftermath of a Petronas gas pipeline leak that had just triggered a massive explosion. As a result, the fireball sent flames as high as 30 meters into the air. In total, the incident injured 150 people and forced emergency services to evacuate everyone within a 290-meter radius. Miraculously, despite the scale of the explosion, no one was seriously hurt. When this driver was entering a gateway in Tianjin, China, a massive explosion suddenly erupted in the distance at the port ahead. What the driver had just captured was the beginning of one of the most catastrophic industrial disasters in recent history. On August 12, 2015, a warehouse storing dangerous chemicals at Tianjin port exploded with devastating force. In fact, the blast registered as a small earthquake. Moments later, an even larger secondary explosion followed, creating a massive fireball visible for miles. Additionally, the shockwave shattered windows in buildings several kilometers away and left a massive crater at the blast site. Overall, the explosions caused billions of dollars in damage. Fortunately, the dashcam driver was far enough away to escape unharmed. On May 29, 2023, a dashcam driver in Kiev was waiting at a red light when it turned green. However, just as he was about to accelerate forward, a massive missile came plummeting down from the sky and slammed into the road directly ahead of him, exploding on impact. As a result, the explosion missed his car by mere inches, with burning debris scattering across the intersection and completely obliterating a traffic light. Meanwhile, the wreckage left behind a small fire on the pavement as smoke filled the air. Miraculously, the driver escaped without any injuries. If he had pulled forward just 1 second earlier when the light turned green, this would have ended very differently. When this fire truck responded to the 2015 Pinery bushfire in South Australia, the crew experienced every firefighter's worst nightmare. Specifically, the footage shows the truck pushing through the blaze when suddenly a wall of flames closes in from all sides, completely swallowing the vehicle whole. Within seconds, there is nothing but fire outside every window. Immediately after, the frantic ripping noises you hear are the firefighters tearing off Velcro strips to pull down protective blankets over the windows. At the same time, the truck's external sprinkler system kicks in, desperately working to keep the body and wheels from melting so they can drive out. In the worst cases, the only option is to stop, cut the engine, and wait for the fire to pass. Miraculously, the crew made it out alive. What makes this even more incredible is that the vast majority of these firefighters are volunteers who willingly put themselves in these terrifying situations. This chilling dashcam footage shows a driver being caught in a violent storm on a highway in Serbia between Belgrade and Novi Sad. with debris flying across the road as the wind reached terrifying levels. Despite being a BMW 7 Series weighing over 2 tons, the car started shaking like a piece of paper, and it was so powerful that the vehicle nearly started sliding across the road. With no other option, the driver pulled over and waited for the storm to pass. Fortunately, the chaos ended just as quickly as it had begun, dying down after only a few minutes. What made the whole experience even more surreal was that just moments earlier, there had been no sign of rain at all, and within 20 minutes, the sky was completely blue again. This driver was making his way to a client's house in South Africa when he came across a herd of elephants crossing the road. He immediately stopped to let them pass, thinking he had given them enough space. However, one massive elephant clearly disagreed. Without any warning, the animal turned and charged directly at his truck with terrifying speed. In an instant, the impact was devastating. Specifically, the elephant slammed into the front end of the vehicle with incredible force, completely crumbling the truck's front section. Miraculously, the driver escaped without any injuries. One wrong move, and the elephant could have easily flipped the entire truck. This dashcam driver was traveling down a highway in Woodside, California during heavy rain. Suddenly, a car in the left lane hit a patch of standing water and lost all traction, beginning to spin out completely. As a result, the vehicle slid uncontrollably across multiple lanes before colliding with another car on the right side. Fortunately, the dashcam driver managed to avoid the chaos entirely through quick reflexes. In the end, no one was seriously injured in the collision, though both vehicles sustained significant damage. But if you want to see even more disturbing dashcam moments, watch this video next.